Morning. It's Monday, July 19th. And over the weekend, we had some unusual things happen at the ballparks. Maybe even very strange things. And the first one I'll talk about was really minor compared to the second one. At the Yankee game, which started with a long rain delay, and the rain didn't show up, so then they started the game. And then the rain did show up. And so they were soaking wet and they were playing, and it was into the sixth inning and it was pouring, and the Yankees just hit 2 home runs, but then they had to stop the game because of the rain. And then after almost a 1 hour wait, they declared the game over and the Yankees won for a change. They beat the Red Sox for the first time in 8 games, and they beat them 3-1. But that's not what was unusual. What was unusual, just before the last rain delay, some crazy fan threw a baseball and hit one of the Red Sox players, Verdugo, in the head. And the Red Sox walked off the field in protest. And Aaron Boone, the Yankee manager, was definitely on the side of the Red Sox, and he apologized profusely. I don't even know if they got the guy. But that's really, really dangerous out there. I know there have been cases where they have thrown bottles out of the stands and stuff like that. So that's one of the big things. One of the upsetting things that happened over the weekend at a baseball game. But it doesn't compare to this other event. At the Washington National game, 3 people were shot outside the stadium. And that caused the stampede. The fans and the ball players were scrambling around the stadium. Ball players were looking for a place to hide. But in an open stadium, there's not too many places to hide. How many people can fit in a bathroom in a situation like that? And there's no way to get under the seats or anything like that. So I don't know what the heck happened after that. But they scrambled around. They realized that there was no threat to the people inside the stadium. It turned out that the people in the stadium were never in danger. But when you hear gunshots, how the hell do you know whether you're in danger or not? You just have to keep cool and see if you can find a place to hide. Certainly don't want to be caught in the middle of some kind of shooting incident. I'll call it a shooting incident. Turns out that everything took place outside the stadium. And actually, one Washington National fan was one of the people shot. What really happened outside the stadium was a shootout between 2 vehicles. And the police recovered one of the vehicles, but the other vehicle remains at large. And beside the fan, 2 other people were shot. And those 2 people were shot, I'm not sure inside the recovered vehicle or outside the recovered vehicle. But they were associated with the recovered vehicle. And they were taken to the hospital to be treated. And of course, the police went with them because they're trying to find out exactly how these people were shot and why they were involved in this incident. And it turns out those people were known to law enforcement. So this seems like an old-fashioned gang shootout, the kind of things you would see in the movies, I remember seeing a movie one time where the guy's gang gathered in somebody's garage and took out their Tommy guns and went out looking for the other gang, So I don't know what this people was shot with or anything like that. And I don't know if there was any assault rifles or anything other than pistols that were used. Did a clever thing. They made announcements via the scoreboard that the fans should remain in the stadium until everything was cleared out. And then eventually, when the dust had settled outside, the sign went up on the scoreboard that it was safe to leave the ballpark. So the Nationals behaved professionally in a situation that required to be cool, calm, and collected. Of course, when you got 30 or 40,000 people sitting in the seats, it's very hard for everybody to remain cool, calm, and collected. And I'm especially sure there were a lot of children out there watching the game too. So that's another factor that has to be considered. You know, it's one thing when your life is in danger and an entirely other thing when you believe the life of your child might be in danger. And there were many children there because it was a Saturday night and there was supposed to be a fireworks show. So imagine that. Imagine that some people might have thought that the fireworks went off early or something. So that's another factor that added to the confusion in the beginning of the shooting. So really, it all ended happily for the people inside the stadium. And the one fan who unfortunately was outside the stadium was unlucky, I'm sure, is going to be okay, I believe. It's so clear that the police did a really good job managing to get the proper information into the people in the stadium and managed to get the people released from the stadium through the center field and the right field gates, which was on the other side of the stadium from the shooting. And the management of the stadium wouldn't have known anything about which way to go except that the police were on the ball and got the information to them. I look at this incident and I realize what the police had to do in a situation like that, which there's no amount of training that takes into account situations exactly like that. So these cops acted extremely professionally. And they kept the situation under control as best they could. And so all this nonsense that's going on in this country about police and about defunding police departments, put to bed. No matter what you do in life, there's always room for improvement. But people who don't know and haven't done the job and don't know the situations shouldn't be the one that are deciding what's to be done with anything. Forget into police in any situation. If you haven't done the job and you don't have the experience, you should keep your mouth shut. So in any event, that's what I have to say this morning. And you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.